The government. Many people have different views and opinions on the government. Some people don't like how the government doesn't treat their citizens equal or keep things secret and things like that. Speaking of secrets, today I'm going to tell you about a secret, the effects of the secret, and how the government tried to hide the secret. So, there's a secret, but if I tell you this secret, you can't tell other people the secret. So, this secret, the government used to try experiments on prisoners and the mentally insane, which what they would use was LSD. There, I said it. The experiment was on LSD, and they would do this on prisoners and the mentally insane, which, if you think about it, it's not very good. It's inhumane because these prisoners were led on to think that they're actually helping to find a cure for schizophrenia, and they weren't. They're just trying to use this for mind control. So, the original idea for this experiment was because the Soviets, if you know, this was during the Cold War, and whatever the Soviets would do, the US think that they could do better. So the Soviets found out about this way of mind control. So the US wanted to try it too. Don't know why, but they were scared of it, but they were also, oddly enough, fascinated by this too. So the Cold War was a tick for tack, if you know that. So the US tried it, but this wasn't the only experiment that the US did too. They also would do hypnosis, polygraphs, radiation, toxins, chemicals, and many other drugs, and also electroshock therapy. They also did this on the mentally insane, and they didn't know. Of course, they didn't know. But it's bad because the mentally insane don't have the mental capacity to understand what's going on. So sometimes this would leave the patient confused, deranged, seeing hallucinations and things like that. In this video here, if you stare at the center for a little bit and then you look away, it will give you the effects of LSD. So don't be afraid of that. So one of the prisoners named Whitey Bugler, he is a American criminal that was sent to Alcatraz, and he was part of the experiment. They told him that they would give him, this would help him with his schizophrenia, which it did not. It made him see things, and he felt as though that the room was changing shapes, and he felt he was being attacked and stared at. So he was very paranoid and afraid of himself. Um, there was a agent, I forgot his name, or I can't tell you his name because the government will be after me if I tell you too much. So there was a man who was in on the LSD. Sometimes coworkers would slip LSD into other coworkers' cups and they wouldn't know. So yeah, people would be at work tripping out and stuff, which is weird. Um, so this man here, he had set up a room and he had this experiment set out, and he would give LSD to sex workers and he would give LSD to a prey or predator kind of thing. And he would sit behind a glass mirror and he would sit and watch the sex worker lure in the prey and watch everything that was happening in the room. And then after, he would give the sex workers money and he would tell the sex workers that if they got caught by the police by doing their job, that he would look out for them so they don't get in trouble. Um, the effects of LSD were a loss of appetite, hallucinations, and feeling paranoid. Um, this is a man who tried to burn the evidence of the LSD experiments, which he did bad at because there are 8,000 documents left of the actual evidence of doing the LSD experiments. He didn't want part of the LSD experiment, so he went down to the CIA and he told them that he doesn't want to be a part of it. And he took the records to a building and told them that he wanted them destroyed, which they did not do. There's still ripped in pieces of papers and documents and things like that. So people were still able to figure out what was happening and things like that. So, of course, people were upset that this is going on for the mentally insane because they don't know what's going on, like I said. And many people were left in a bad state because they were used and abused and things like that. So, the moral of the story, don't tell anyone that I told you this really, really big secret, or else I will go to jail. And always remember that the government will do odd things. So, if they come out with new inventions, always be a little skeptical of it. And also remember that this experiment and many other experiments, like feed tube experiments at Guantanamo Bay, the other experiments they did on the mentally insane, such as drilling holes in the head to try and help them with their mental problems. So, yeah, be aware of your surroundings and be aware of your government. Thank you.